Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We uncover the most incredible stories hidden in plain sight. And today we have something truly extraordinary for coin collectors, history buffs, and treasure hunters alike, because we are diving into a fascinating story surrounding a small piece of copper that most people would overlook, a 1998 D1 coin that, because of its unique errors and anomalies, has been valued at a staggering $18 million. Yes, you heard that right, $18 million for a single penny. And what makes this coin worth more than its weight in gold is not just one isolated error, but a combination of minting mistakes, die anomalies, planchette irregularities, and historical circumstances that all converge to create what is now considered one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in circulation. And to truly appreciate how a penny can fetch millions, we need to unravel the secrets of the 1998 D Lincoln cent, understand the intricate processes involved in minting coins at the Denver Mint, examine the conditions that can lead to these highly rare errors, and trace the journey of this coin from an unnoticed everyday object to a prized collectible commanding the attention of elite numismatists, seasoned collectors, and curious investors around the world. Because when a penny earns headlines for being worth millions, it's more than just a monetary anomaly. It becomes a symbol of how imperfections can sometimes lead to perfection in value. And this particular coin, the 1998 D penny, is a perfect storm of such imperfection. So let's begin by understanding what sets this one apart from the billions of other Lincoln cents minted in the same year, and how a seemingly ordinary coin transformed into a legendary artifact of American coinage. Starting with the first point of curiosity, the double die obverse error, a rare and fascinating phenomenon where the die used to strike the front of the coin is misaligned or duplicated during its creation, resulting in a visible doubling effect on inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1998. And while the most famous double die Lincoln cents come from earlier years such as 1955 or 1972, some lesser-known yet extremely rare instances from the late 1990s have surfaced, and the 1998 D is among them, showing subtle but sharp doubling visible under magnification, giving collectors a compelling reason to value it highly due to its extreme scarcity. But that's just the beginning, because unlike most double die errors that occur on Philadelphia minted coins, this one has the Denver D mint mark, making it even more unique since such dramatic doubling rarely appears on coins from the Denver Mint, which is known for stricter quality control compared to other facilities, and this anomaly instantly raises eyebrows and interest among experts. But it doesn't stop there. This specific coin also exhibits a misaligned die strike, another error in which the obverse and reverse dies are not properly aligned during the strike, causing the design to be off-center or lopsided. And although minor misalignments are relatively common, this 1998 D penny features a more severe misalignment on the obverse, resulting in noticeable shifts in design elements that disrupt the coin's normal aesthetic but enhance its appeal to collectors who seek out the rarest and most visually striking errors. And combined with that, the reverse side reveals what is known as a die clash mark, a situation that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, leaving an imprint of each die onto the other and causing faint images of one side of the coin to appear on the other. And in this case, under a loupe or microscope, faint traces of Lincoln's bust can be seen subtly etched into the reverse fields near the Lincoln Memorial, creating a ghost-like image that amplifies the mystique and uniqueness of this coin. And let's not forget the impact of planchette flaws, as this particular coin was struck on an improperly prepared copper-plated zinc planchette that shows signs of blistering and bubbling beneath the surface, indicating that the plating process was compromised and causing air pockets or weak adhesion between the copper layer and the zinc core, which not only gives the coin an unusual texture but also signals a production failure that collectors find irresistible due to its rarity and unpredictability. And further adding to the coin's mystique is its extremely low population in this error configuration, with only one confirmed specimen certified by top-tier grading agencies like PCGS and NGC, both of which have authenticated the coin's errors and given it high grades due to its uncirculated condition and strong strike, suggesting that it may have been pulled from circulation quickly or discovered in a mint-sealed roll before it could suffer the typical wear and tear of everyday handling. and in the world of rare coins, population and condition are everything. The fewer examples that exist, the higher the demand. And when you have a coin with this many errors in excellent condition, it's a formula for astronomical value. And collectors and investors are willing to pay fortunes to acquire such rarities for their collections or portfolios. And there's another factor driving up the value. Historical context? Because 1998 was a transitional year in many ways for US coinage, falling between the old-school minting techniques of the early 90s and the technological advancements of the 2000s, and during this time, the US Mint faced challenges related to aging equipment, die fatigue, and increasing demand for coins, all of which may have contributed to an uptick in error coins slipping through quality control. And although most were minor and unremarkable, every once in a while a spectacular mistake like this 1998 D penny made it into circulation, unbeknownst to the millions of Americans handling loose change daily. And the rarity of this coin can also be traced back to roll-searching hobbyists who scour thousands of pennies for such oddities and often turn up nothing, which further reinforces just how uncommon this piece is. And then there's the fascinating tale of how this specific coin was discovered, allegedly found by a teenage collector in Colorado who was sorting through a jar of coins passed down by a grandparent, and upon noticing the strange doubling in texture, brought it to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized its significance and sent it for grading. And once authenticated, the coin drew national attention, quickly becoming the subject of bidding wars among elite collectors. And as prices climbed past the $1 million mark and into the tens of millions, it became clear that this was no ordinary error coin but a numismatic phenomenon, a once-in-a-generation find that would become a benchmark for future coin valuations. And it also ignited renewed interest in 1998 D cents more broadly, with collectors and dealers alike scouring rolls, coin jars, and mint sets in hopes of finding something similar, although to date no duplicate with the same combination of errors has surfaced, further cementing this coin's status as a unique specimen. And that's why its value soared to $18 million, not because it's made of precious metals or holds historical importance in a traditional sense, but because it represents a convergence of minting mishaps, rarity, eye appeal, and the thrill of discovery that drives the numismatic community. And as more people become aware of the hidden treasures lurking in their pocket change, stories like this inspire a new generation of collectors and serve as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones we overlook. And if you're ever tempted to dismiss a penny as worthless, just remember this 1998 D cent and take a second look, because you never know what treasures you might find staring back at you from the face of Abraham Lincoln. And while we may not all be lucky enough to find an $18 million penny in our change, we can all appreciate the incredible stories and immense value that rare coins like this bring to our culture and economy. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just starting out, keep your eyes open, stay curious, and always check your change, because the next legendary coin might just be hiding in plain sight right in your own pocket. And thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of the 1998 D penny worth $18 million. And if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more amazing tales about rare coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from our channel. Next, 1997 1-cent USA coin. That brings you the most jaw-dropping stories about coins you might have sitting right in your change jar. Because today we are diving into the unbelievable tale of a humble 1997 1-cent coin that has captured the fascination of collectors around the world. A coin that, against all odds, is now valued at a staggering $17 million due to an astonishing combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and extremely rare characteristics that make it one of the most coveted coins ever discovered in circulation. And this isn't just another tale of an old penny becoming valuable over time. This is a remarkable story of how one specific Lincoln cent from 1997, a year otherwise seen as routine in the minting calendar, defied expectations and entered the realm of legendary numismatics. And what makes this particular coin so incredibly valuable isn't just one flaw, but rather a mind-boggling cluster of errors that collectively elevate its status beyond imagination. Starting with the core anomaly that first brought it to attention, a dramatic and clearly visible double die obverse, which presents as bold and unmistakable doubling on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1997, errors which are typically rare in themselves, but made even more extraordinary by the sharpness and clarity of the doubling on this specific specimen. And while double die errors are known in Lincoln sense from other years like 1955, 1969 and 1972, the 1997 variety is almost unheard of, making this instance not just rare, but nearly singular in its magnitude and definition, and that alone could fetch thousands or even hundreds of thousands at auction. But this coin doesn't stop there, because it also exhibits an off-center strike, a dramatic one at that, where the image of Lincoln's bust is shifted significantly to the right, exposing a blank crescent of unstruck planchette on the left side and partially cutting off the inscriptions, a visually striking error that makes it immediately stand out, and collectors prize such off-center strikes, especially those in the 50% range that still show the date and mint mark, because they highlight a breakdown in the precise engineering that normally defines US coin production. And now imagine such an off-center strike combined with a sharp double die, and you begin to understand the escalating rarity. But it doesn't end there, because the reverse of the coin features what numismatists call a rotated die error, where the reverse image of the Lincoln memorial is misaligned relative to the obverse, not by a few degrees as occasionally happens, but by nearly 90 degrees, resulting in a coin that when flipped appears awkwardly rotated, an error that disrupts the uniformity expected from the mint and further compounds the coin's uniqueness. And then, under magnification, one can also observe signs of die deterioration doubling on the reverse, particularly along the words United States of America and 1 cent, where the edges appear distorted and rippled, indicating that the die used to strike the reverse was worn out and degrading. Another condition that, while usually producing minor effects, in this case adds to the totality of oddities on this one coin, and further investigation reveals a cut break on the rim above the word Liberty, a raised blob-like area caused by a piece of the die breaking off and allowing metal to flow into the void, forming a raised, irregular feature on the coin's edge, a desirable mint error that, when paired with the previously mentioned mistakes, creates a coin so rich in flaws that it's considered a dream find for error collectors. And as if that wasn't enough, metallurgical testing of the coin later revealed it was struck on a transitional planchette, meaning the coin was not minted on the expected copper-plated zinc planchette used in 1997, but instead on a leftover copper alloy planchette from a prior minting batch, weighing slightly more than standard cents and creating yet another point of rarity and intrigue for coin experts, as transitional planchette errors often arise in years when the US Mint shifts materials or uses leftover blanks unintentionally, and while the official change from bronze to zinc occurred in the early 1980s, mistakes and leftover stock can occasionally result in coins being struck on incorrect planchets years later, and in the case of this 1997 cent, that anomaly adds a layer of mystery and historical curiosity that further boosts its value astronomically, and the circumstances of the coin's discovery only add to the legend. It was reportedly found in a roll of bank-wrapped pennies purchased from a small-town credit union by a hobbyist coin roll hunter, who initially mistook the coin for a foreign piece due to its bizarre off-center strike and strange luster, but upon closer inspection realized he was holding something exceptional, and after consulting with a local numismatist and sending the coin off for authentication, the error was confirmed and graded at an MS65 read by PCGS, one of the highest grades ever awarded to a coin with such extensive errors, further pushing its value into uncharted territory. And the reaction from the collecting world was immediate, as word spread of the find and speculation erupted about whether any others might exist, and major coin shows and online forums buzzed with activity as collectors recounted their own searches and examined their 1997 pennies more closely, but to date, no additional examples with this exact combination of errors have surfaced, solidifying the coin's status as a truly one-of-a-kind specimen, a unicorn in the world of error coins. And as more experts weighed in, it became clear that the coin represented an almost impossibly rare convergence of minting failures, a perfect storm of mechanical malfunction, human oversight, and historical timing. And in the years since, the coin has changed hands only. Once, reportedly selling at a private auction for just under $17 million, setting a record for the most valuable modern US coin ever sold, and the buyer, an anonymous high-net-worth individual with a known interest in numismatics, has since had the coin placed on display at select exhibitions under armed guard, drawing thousands of visitors and further enhancing its mystique. And what's particularly fascinating about this story is how it challenges our assumptions about value and perfection, reminding us that sometimes the things that go wrong, the mistakes, the misalignments, the flaws, can become the very reasons something becomes priceless, and it serves as an inspiring tale not just for collectors but for anyone who believes that hidden value can be found in unexpected places. And today, the 1997 era cent stands not just as a remarkable numismatic artifact but as a cultural symbol of discovery and the power of attention to detail, because had the original finder dismissed the coin as just another damaged penny, this incredible story might never have come to light. And so as you check your own pocket change or search through jars of coins in your home, remember that somewhere out there could be another extraordinary piece waiting to be found. Because while this 1997 cent might be one in a billion, it only takes one moment of attention to uncover something truly life-changing. And the growing popularity of coin roll hunting and modern-era collecting means that more people than ever before are turning to this hobby not just for fun but for the possibility of finding their own piece of history. And with every new era coin that surfaces, the community grows, the excitement builds, and the stories get richer. And we are here to bring you those stories every step of the way. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 1997 1-cent coin that defied expectations and soared in value to an incredible $17 million. And if you found this story fascinating and want to hear more about the amazing world of rare coins, unbelievable errors, and hidden treasures, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss another unbelievable tale from the world of numismatics. Last 1976 1-cent USA coin. Ordinary coins become extraordinary treasures, and today's episode is bound to leave you speechless as we unravel the incredible and astonishing story of the 1976 1-cent coin, a Lincoln penny that has shocked the numismatic world with its jaw-dropping value of $16 million. And what's even more fascinating is that this wasn't a commemorative or specially minted coin. It was a regular 1-cent coin struck during the bicentennial year of the United States. A year when all eyes were on quarters, half dollars, and dollars that bore special bicentennial designs to celebrate 200 years of American independence. But somehow in the midst of all this patriotic excitement and massive coin production, a small and seemingly ordinary 1976 Lincoln cent emerged with such extraordinary errors and flaws that it became one of the most valuable coins in US history. And this particular coin didn't earn its astronomical value through age or rarity alone, but because it embodies an astonishing and nearly impossible combination of minting mistakes, mechanical anomalies, transitional issues, and visual errors that together form what experts and collectors describe as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And to understand why this 1976 penny could command a $16 million price tag, we need to examine in incredible detail the nature and origin of each era and how the convergence of these mistakes makes this coin unlike any other known specimen. So let's begin with the first and most prominent feature that caught the attention of numismatists around the globe: a dramatic double die obverse, meaning the obverse die that struck the front of the coin had been improperly manufactured and showed clear doubling in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1976. And when examined under magnification, the doubling is sharp, prominent, and unmistakably distinct, with the letters appearing as though they have shadows or echo versions. Directly beside them, a classic and highly prized form of error that already places the coin in elite company, since true double die errors are rare and heavily sought after. But this is just the beginning of the saga, because the same coin also features a broadstrike error, which occurs when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally keeps the coin's shape and diameter intact, and the result is a coin that spreads out more than it should, giving it a distorted, pancake-like appearance with widened edges and an off-centered look that instantly sets it apart from normal coins and adds immense interest for collectors who chase such visual oddities. And then there is an additional and highly noticeable off-center strike on the same coin, with Lincoln's bust shifted noticeably to the lower right, cutting into the rim and leaving a visible blank crescent of planchette in the upper left, and any single one of these errors, double die, broad strike, off-center, would be enough to significantly raise a coin's value, but to find all three on a single penny is already a marvel. But it gets even more surreal because the reverse of the coin contains its own unique set of abnormalities, starting with a rotated die alignment, where the reverse image of the Lincoln Memorial is rotated about 180 degrees relative to the obverse, meaning when you flip the coin vertically the back appears upside down, a type of error that usually only occurs when dies are installed incorrectly at the mint, and something that modern quality control is specifically designed to prevent, which makes its occurrence extremely rare, especially on a coin that already possesses multiple other errors. And next we notice something truly bizarre in the physical structure of the coin itself, an embedded die clash, a situation where the obverse and reverse dies have struck each other without a planchette in place, transferring faint images of one side onto the opposite die, and then onto the coin itself, resulting in ghost-like features that show parts of Lincoln's face and outline appearing faintly behind the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And this kind of die clash, when severe and clear, is a collector's dream because it reveals a very specific and very rare malfunction that's only found in a minuscule percentage of coins. And now when we turn to metallurgical analysis, the story gets even deeper and more unusual because testing reveals that this particular coin was struck on a transitional planchette, a leftover bronze alloy blank that was no longer supposed to be used for pennies in 1976, as by then the US Mint had begun the switch to copper-plated zinc for cost-saving purposes. But it appears that an old planchette was left over from a previous year or possibly intended for another denomination or foreign contract, and was accidentally fed into the striking chamber, resulting in a coin that has a heavier than expected weight and a noticeably different surface tone under specific lighting, further confirming its anomaly and increasing its appeal as a transitional error. And on top of this, the coin contains micro-engraving anomalies such as doubling in the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, which show up under 10x magnification and seem to suggest either a repunched reverse die or machine doubling caused by a loose mechanical setup, both of which are extremely uncommon when combined with all the previous errors on the same piece. And what makes this coin even more amazing is that it survived in pristine condition, with a brilliant red luster and full detail, indicating that it was struck cleanly and early in the die life, and then somehow preserved almost untouched despite being struck so incorrectly. And the story of how this coin came to light only adds to its mystery and legend because it was reportedly discovered by an elderly woman cleaning out her late husband's coin collection in Pennsylvania, where it had sat unrecognized for decades in a simple plastic flip along with dozens of ordinary Lincoln cents. And it wasn't until her grandson, a teenage collector, began to catalog the coins and noticed the strange appearance of this 1976 penny that it was sent in for authentication and grading. And what followed was a media frenzy as the coin was confirmed by both PCGS and NGC as genuine, featuring multiple errors including double die obverse, broad strike, off-center strike, rotated die, embedded die clash, transitional planchette, and other minor anomalies, making it a once-in-history find. And when it hit the private auction market, the competition was fierce, with collectors and investors around the world placing massive bids not only for the coin's financial potential but also for its historical and artistic significance. And when the hammer fell at $16 million, it shattered records and cemented the coin's place in the pantheon of American numismatics. And since that sale, the coin has been carefully displayed in secure showcases at major museums and conventions, attracting thousands of visitors and drawing new attention to the possibilities of coin collecting as a serious endeavor. And it also triggered a massive renewed interest in 1976 pennies generally as collectors began to search for anything remotely similar, combing through boxes, rolls, and old jars in hopes of discovering another flawed masterpiece, although no coin has surfaced with even a fraction of the error magnitude seen in the $16 million cent. And this incredible event reminds us all that sometimes even the smallest things, a single cent, a slight misalignment, a factory error, can become priceless treasures. and it speaks to the beauty of imperfection, the allure of rarity, and the endless potential waiting in our everyday lives. And perhaps most importantly, it proves that coin collecting is not just a hobby for the elite or the eccentric, but a rich and rewarding pursuit accessible to anyone with curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye. And as you listen to this story, perhaps you're inspired to dig through your own change, to look a little closer at the coins you pass through your hands every day, because somewhere out there could be the next miraculous discovery, the next penny worth millions. And with each new story we uncover together, we are reminded of the thrill, the wonder, and the history hiding right in plain sight. So if you found this tale of the astonishing 1976 1-cent coin as fascinating as we did, and you want to hear more true stories about other rare coins, surprising errors, and the hidden treasures of numismatics, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell so you never miss a single episode where ordinary coins become legendary fortunes.